Hello, everyone, and welcome to another talk here. This is going to be a live stream edition on the YouTube channel member area and also podcast too. So start out by doing a little playing and kind of a work in progress here, trying to work on backing tracks and playing all this live. So we'll start from there. All right, so a few things that we talked about this past week. We worked on analyzing the chord changes. So those are some of the first steps that you might want to take when you're working on a tune, whether playing the chord changes or playing the chords, let's say rhythm guitar, or improvising on the tune. But whatever role you're playing or taking at any given moment, we want to have that awareness of what the key center is. So in the case of Nuage, that's the tune we're talking about this week. Key of G, right? So I want to be able to think about how everything relates to G. So one thing that we talked about was basically kind of the areas of the key that it visits. So we end up on G a few times. We end up on E minor. Okay, A and D there. Okay, so kind of a 5 of the dominant. Right, so those are a few different areas, and then we get through also the 4 chords. So if you C major. So if we kind of simplify thinking a little bit and see what areas we're visiting, then we can make these other motions happen as well. So we talked about the 5 of the 5, but we have other motions where we take the 5 of the 4, and then we put a little bit kind of a side slipping or sidestepping kind of motion with that. That's built into the that composition itself. So so those are just kind of some moments to consider there as we move around. So so maybe I'll play again here a little bit, and maybe play a little more, and include some chords as well. Okay, so another area that we go to there is the B flat. We never end up on B flat, but we play it to kind of a 2-5 progression. Okay, then we go back to the G, to the 1 chord. Okay, so another one that I'll kind of mention. So we have two 5s, 2 the tonic. So we have this kind of motion going over to the tonic. We have this kind of motion going later to the subdominant, the relative minor, and the 5 chords. So we have the 5 of the 5. Right, and then we have this little motion over, borrowing from the key of 2 flats there, just for the 2-5, and then back to the 1 chord there. So those are kind of the different moments that we played around with. So another thing that we discussed was the scales and things that might use. We talked about arpeggios. We talked about some scale motions. So let's dive a little bit into that as well and pick up on anything that we might have kind of glossed over. So so we have this moment here with the minor 7 flat 5 to the this, and then D7 flat 9, and then into the G major there. So some scales that you can just generally use and think about. So there's a scale called the harmonic major that you can use, let's say on this kind of motion here with the A minor 7 flat 5. Okay, and then that you can use as well on the D7 flat 9. And there are all sorts of things that you can do, all sorts of lines that you can play that are sort of outside of that, but that's kind of an option that would make a lot of sense since we're going to major in that case. But you could play things outside of that too. Okay, so maybe moving from some other ideas, you can have more of an altered dominant sound, or something kind of similar to that. It's also harmonic major, but it's from a different location, but also Phrygian dominant. So all sorts of options there. And then we had the 2/5 to the minor, so you might consider as a starting point the harmonic minor, especially on the 2/5 part of that motion there. Right, and that can give us some more kind of stepwise motion, or even kind of fill in the spaces in between the arpeggios. So we talked about arpeggios, and so you could find either chromatic tones or tones that kind of sit in between those chord tones. All right, so let's play around with that a little bit. I'll go a little slower, and so hopefully you can kind of listen for some of those moments. I have the keyboard set a little bit low in the mix, so maybe I'll adjust that as we go. We'll see. Okay, so there are some things that you can kind of think about. So I'm just kind of deliberately working in some of those scales and things into the line, so you can hear what the effect of playing that would be there. But when playing, I'd recommend working at some of those scales and things, and but then when it comes to playing improvisation, try to kind of let go, I guess you might say, of that a little bit, and just kind of follow your intuition on what's going to work, and just try to observe, how each note is sounding and how the contour of your line is going, and then kind of the rhythms moving through there. All right, so we covered a little bit of let's say playing the chords, covered a little bit of melody and things. So let's go through and see if we can do a little bit of both of those elements here. So there are a couple approaches that you can take. You can kind of mimic the idea of having a second guitarist, so have a couple chords going in the background as you play some melody, or play in the gaps between your phrases. All right, so let's play around with that idea a little bit. Okay, so there's some ideas for taking chords and kind of combining them, and then kind of the challenges to balance between playing chords and fitting that into maybe playing some melody and keeping the listener kind of engaged and moving in a certain direction. So we don't want to sound like we're just playing chords, and maybe trying to mix some chords in as well. So just trying to strike that balance there. So it's really a challenge to do that. All right, so I'll talk here for just maybe a couple more minutes, and then call it a day for today. If you're checking this out on the YouTube channel, or if you saw it on the YouTube channel, consider joining the joining the member area, and also if you're on the podcast. So I'm going to try to add in a little bit of snare drum here. I kind of eliminated it out because it was getting kind of repetitive, but I definitely like it. I want to figure out a way to kind of get some variety in the snare drum, so it's not kind of the same thing every time. But anyway, so I'll play along a little bit more, and then we'll call it a day for today. See, I'll change my angle here. Everybody, well, thanks for listening and watching, and I hope you enjoyed the talk today. Hope everybody has a really great practice session, great weekend, Labor Day weekend here, 2022. All right, I'll see you all in the next one.